Coming up today on A Cup with Joe, I have Dr. Kristina Gillmeister, the coordinator of STEM. Thank you for coming, Dr. Gillmeister.
Thanks for having me here today, Dr. Viachodik.
Oh, you're welcome. Dr. Gillmeister, talk to me a little bit about STEM and the acronym STEM.
STEM has traditionally stood for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and the acronym originated decades ago, even back to the Sputnik era.
Wow.
But here in AACPS, we believe STEM is a philosophy, not a set of content areas. So we define STEM differently. We would say STEM is using all of your knowledge, skills, and resources to solve problems and create opportunities in the world.
Well, so then STEM is not just the, sort of the four components, right? The four traditional academic areas, if you want to. So you're adding more to academics than just the STEM part of it. So in AACPS, so how do we define it a little bit differently with values?
We believe that AACPS STEM is a values-based program, like you said. It's not a content-based program solely. So we believe that all of the content areas have a place in STEM, and so do all of our students and families and educators. Some of our values might sound a little bit different to you, but how we arrived at those is we really did look at a broad cross-section of stakeholders that would be a part of the STEM community. And when we spoke to them about what STEM means and what they're looking for in future employees and what they're looking for in higher education, and we visited STEM programs across the country and even internationally, and we looked at the current research on child and adolescent development, on workforce development, on the career pipeline. And when we did all of that, then we came to these 6 STEM values that we have today.
So for you, it's a little like puzzle pieces. So it's part of it is looking at the academic part of it, but then it's beyond that, it's in the humanities, it's in society, it's sociology and psychology, and we've also gone into the business one and economics. So it's way beyond what somebody might traditionally think that STEM would stand for. It's not just about being a good mathematician or a good engineer or good in technology or good in science, and that in itself is broad. Science is broad in itself, right? So
absolutely.
So we're approaching it from a different perspective.
It's really a more holistic approach to STEM. Just as we take a holistic approach to educating our children, we're doing the same with the STEM program as a whole.
Oh, that's really cool. Can you talk a little bit about one or two of the STEM values, and we can elaborate on that, and just to give an example of how STEM here in Anne Arundel County Public Schools is significantly different, because our philosophy, as you know, our superintendent's strategic initiative, strategic plan has to do with all means all, and so how do we get all means all in STEM?
Absolutely. So some of our values include empathy and mindfulness, radical curiosity and revolutionary imagination, being passionate about play, including design thinking and systems thinking in what we do.
Wow.
The maker and the change maker movements, so making and change making. And all of this is on a foundation of ethics and integrity.
So two of the things you said are pretty interesting here. So you talk about ethics and integrity, and you know that's an interesting base for any program at all, right? So you have to approach everything in an ethical manner. You also talked about innovation, and it sounds as if you yourself have spearheaded this movement in STEM, right, to be innovative in what STEM actually is. So it's not narrowly defined, but rather really broadly defined to capture a wider audience. Talk about something innovative that you're working on, perhaps?
So there are so many innovative and creative things that are happening in STEM. We have students doing everything from talking to astronauts on the International Space Station while they're in orbit, to observing live surgery and talking with surgeons while they're in the operating room.
Wow.
Yeah, our students really have a great opportunity in STEM to make connections on a regular basis with what's going on in the real world, in the whole world as a whole, in the world as a whole.
Right. So if you're looking at it from a parent's perspective, so I'm a parent and I'm sending my child off to STEM, I can see that they've done a lot outside of the classroom. So it's extracurricular in that sense, right? So not in the traditional sense of that, but rather I'm doing something that applies real-world knowledge to this. So sort of like problem-based learning or project-based learning, that we're actually applying our knowledge to a specific area, right?
We strongly support our students being a part of the co-curricular experience. We think that the club opportunities that AACPS offers are second to none, especially in STEM. And we do support STEM clubs at every school in the county through our Advanced Co-Curricular Office in collaboration with the STEM office.
Well, so let's just pull back just a little bit and looking at it sort of closely. Can you talk about one or two courses that are different in the STEM magnet curriculum that are different from a traditional classroom and a comprehensive school?
Sure. In our high school program, our problem and project-based learning four-year course sequence is probably the most indicative of our STEM values in the academic classroom.
Right.
In those courses, students take PBL 1 and PBL 2, which are exploration courses through the different pathways of study that STEM has to offer, and they're taught in conjunction with professionals in the community. So those professionals actually come in as guest instructors, co-teach alongside of our teachers, and give the students the knowledge of the professional world right there in the classroom. It's a completely project-based experience for those 2 years. The students are also learning study skills, AVID strategies, organization, time management, the soft skills that our business partners have told us are so important. And that happens within their first 2 years in the STEM high school program.
Wow, that sounds great. I mean, so you're looking at it, a student can expect then to have some traditional things to learn, and that's the content, right? Those are that's the curriculum that we think of. But then beyond that, it's a lot of guiding questions and looking at project-based learning from a different viewpoint, that they get to apply their knowledge with somebody who actually is doing it now. So that's something that, you know, sort of in a traditional classroom that may or may not happen, right, depending on how it's working. And so since you've mentioned it also about, you know, passionate about play, this sounds like it's a little passionate about play. So this is an action that students who need to do something with their knowledge and with their hands and with their minds can actually do this in a magnet STEM program, right?
We really like it to be a good balance of hands-on experiential learning and time to think deeply and process academic content deeply. Oftentimes we see in traditional STEM schools that students are purely accelerated or given more and additional content.
Right.
And what we intended to do was to do things differently. So we do take that time out for them to really think about what it is they're trying to do and how they might apply their own personal set of skills and abilities to participate in the team in the most meaningful way possible and to solve the problem in the most meaningful way possible.
Right, so looking at it from the, you know, sort of from the bird's eye view now, so we talked about curriculum and now looking at it from far away, that the individual, the student, is then asked to participate in a group, in a collective. So we're looking at the individual achievement and also the collective achievement, right? And so STEM is really very different than what you would expect to be. It isn't just about studying math and math concepts, it's about applying them and looking at how you can use this with other people to solve a problem in the world, right? Yeah,
if there's one thing that's true in any business, it's that it affects people.
Right, exactly. No, absolutely. And we're talking about students here, so you and I both share that same philosophy that it's always about the student, right? So student has to be the center of what we do. And that's the philosophy of our school system, and that, again, all means all is part of that process. Can you talk a little bit about some activities you have planned for STEM? And so what do students do with it after school or on Saturdays or during the summer, for example?
Sure. So we have a comprehensive summer program, for example, throughout our middle and high school magnet programs, and that ranges from everything related to immersive experiences in STEM out in the community to our STEM Summer of Service, where the students use their STEM skills to give back. They also participate in an in-house conference experience in design thinking, where they design a better something
right,
for the community that they're a part of. And our community partners have been just so supportive of our STEM programs, not only in working directly with the students, but in giving their time and expertise to help them prepare for the careers and the communities that they're going to live in.
So if I'm looking at it from, you know, to sum up what you've been saying, it's the impact of the curriculum on the student on the community, and the community on everything at large, so economics, and also how people will live a different life or better life, right? So based on that innovation that you're talking about, the STEM values, that's pretty cool, right? So when do students enter STEM? How do they get into a STEM program? And you talk a little bit about the, the K to 12 sort of.
So in the elementary school, we have our STEM in Society EEE experience, which is at several schools throughout the county. And then once students are in the 5th grade, they have the opportunity to apply for our 6th grade entrance into the STEM Middle School Magnet Program. And in the 8th grade, they have the opportunity to apply for the 9th grade entrance into the STEM High School Magnet Program.
So then there are a couple of entry points. One is being part of the EEE experience, so that's K through 5, right? And then at grade 5 and at grade 8, so exit year of elementary school and exit year of middle school, that the students get to apply to become part of the magnet program. And the process, those are the entry years, right, for example? Good. And so when the student is in 5th grade, is it, the application process is magnet, right?
Right.
Usually October to November.
Yep. They go through the magnet application process just as they would for any of our programs of choice.
Oh, wonderful. So then they could apply then if they wanted to in their heads. It's like, I'm thinking about STEM and also about something else, and I have the opportunity to do that. So that's part of the programs of choice then. So there's an application process. And then 8th grade, what are the options to go into high school?
So for STEM programs in high school, we have both our STEM program at North County High School and South River High School. And then we also have our STEM Biomedical and Allied Health program, which is located at Glen Burnie High School.
So the STEM Biomedical at Glen Burnie High School is run by the STEM program and sort of supervised by you.
That all falls under the STEM umbrella. It's just a different focus of the pathways of study.
And some of the pathways of study then, how are they a little different from the traditional or comprehensive high school? We get a lot of questions about, the sort of, does it just STEM? And the answer is no. It's about the whole child and sort of looking at becoming part of you become part of a comprehensive school. Right.
And especially once you enter any of our magnets, as you know, you become a student of that school.
Right.
So you attend prom there, you participate in sports there, you're on their clubs. So it really is choosing to go to a different school for a program of choice, just like with all of our magnets.
Oh, that's wonderful. So looking backwards now from high school back down to middle school. So in high school, you have two choices. You could either, depending on where you live in the county, you could either go to North County High School or South River. That's the application process. Right. And that's in the 8th grade, in the fall of the 8th grade year, up until the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, as I understand it. And then also you have the STEM Biomedical at Glen Burnie High School, and that pulls from the entire county. The
whole county is able to apply to our STEM Biomedical and Allied Health program at Glen Burnie because it is the only one that we offer in this county.
So you have 2 STEM opportunities. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yes, you do.
Thinking backwards now to the middle school, we can talk a little bit about the 3 schools that are for STEM middle school, and we could talk a little bit maybe about STEM Saturdays too, right?
Sure. Those are always exciting for the students and the families.
Right. So there's the STEM at Central Middle School?
STEM at Central Middle, yep. STEM at Old Mill Middle South for the central part of the county. And then STEM at Lyndale Middle School for the northern part of the county.
Northwest part of the county, good. So that's divided up and based on where a student lives, the home school, right?
Yep.
We call it the zoned school now?
Yeah, by your address of residence, and which school you would go to would be determined by your address of residence.
So, and what occurs on these STEM Saturdays?
So STEM Saturdays are a required opportunity for our middle school students. And what happens on those is everything from a mobile mining experience where they're learning about geology and mining processes to
wow.
I know, it's pretty exciting. To immersive cybersecurity experience where they're actually working with professionals in cybersecurity, penetrating vulnerabilities in computer systems that are set up for them to learn new skills.
So that's addressing the technology part of it, right? So they're always using technology in a meaningful and ethical way, because you know that's with technology comes there are new challenges, right? So
absolutely, and those technological experiences are set up by our partners, so there is never any possibility of any negative experience in our particular computer systems, but it is present in our world, and it is an ever-present experience that we're having with cybersecurity, and our students need to be aware of that and able to learn the skills that they need to be a part of those fields.
Sure. Can you talk a little bit about Ashoka and so the relationship with STEM and the Ashoka organization?
Absolutely. So Ashoka is an international organization that supports social entrepreneurship, and they're headquartered in Washington, D.C. And we began a partnership with them through our signature programs, actually. And when we met with Ashoka, we really found a very close alignment with our values and their values in the social entrepreneurship arena. And so our change-making value is really about social opportunities to create change in the world. And we give those opportunities at several different grade levels throughout the county. There's an opportunity written right into the elementary school curriculum for students to become social entrepreneurs at every elementary school in the county. We offer that opportunity again to our middle school STEM students through our Changemaker Capstone experience, where they find a community problem, a mentor to help them with that, and then they actually go ahead and create the solution to that problem and implement it.
So that dovetails really nicely, it sounds, with innovation, right? So you're looking at innovation as part of STEM and looking at part of your core values for STEM here in Anne Arundel County.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, that just it sounds like the social impact on it, and sort of it's STEM in society. It's also looking at everything. It's the wholeness of it rather than just, again, the academic areas.
Right. And when our students created those change-making projects, the administrators, the parents, the educators in our system were so impressed with the abilities of these students at such young ages to create such powerful projects that we decided together to actually write an elective course called Social Innovations that's offered at any middle school that would like to offer it. And that is a social entrepreneurship-based elective. And that's available at middle school level, and then again available at the high school level.
So then the student gets to, a student who would follow that course of study would also get to think more deeply. It sounds as if STEM is moving in the arena of not just the product, and not just the curriculum, but also the process of thinking and learning. It sounds like that's deeply involved in that.
The process is just as important to us as the product, and because we know that process skills are applicable across domains. So when you learn a skill, a problem-solving skill, that's applicable in any field of study that you're going to go into later in life.
Right. So it's so if a student is interested in the arts but wants to also study STEM, that's not an issue at all, because those kinds of concepts and ideas carry through, right? So
we've had students go into a broad spectrum of fields from the STEM program, from making documentary films that are science-based to patent and intellectual property law, which is also related to STEM, to aeronautics and aviation. So you can see the STEM skills that they're learning could really apply to any career path that they're choosing.
Right. So in terms of the high school and what students would look at, there are pathways that we call. Can you talk a little bit about the pathways that are available for students, or just in general terms of, so they can get a sense of what they'd like to think about studying more deeply? We talked about that before. It's like, and the passionate about play seems to be part of the study, passionate about study too, right?
Yeah.
This is plays and study seem to go along, right?
So at the high school level, students have the opportunity to choose from 5 different pathways at each of the STEM schools. And those pathways are arranged in a variety of fields, and they're all supported by higher education and professionals in the fields. They include everything from nanotechnology and material science to the ever-emerging green tech field to more traditional computer science and applied mathematics pathway. But when students are choosing a pathway, it's not something that locks them in. Rather, it's something that opens doors. And that's the same with looking at the STEM program as a whole. It's not something that locks you in.
Right.
It's something that actually creates more opportunities for you because of participating in it.
It sounds as if it's another pathway of study. So part of the, looking at programs of choice, this is another choice for you to explore what you don't know yet. So in my experience in teaching in all these years, it's it's been, it's sort of been eye-opening for me. I'm not sure why, that people have a hard time understanding what doesn't exist yet. So they can't imagine what doesn't exist. It sounds like this is the opportunity to give the students, let's invent something that doesn't exist yet, and you never know. I mean, that's how inventions come to fruition and sort of the application in society, right?
We really encourage students to ask questions. Be observant and ask questions. What we have found in traditional education experience in the research is that as students increase in their academic years, the number of self-directed questions that they ask for exploration decreases. And so what we're trying to do in STEM is keep the floodgate of questions open. Keep the deep observation coming. When you see something and you wonder about it, ask. And then that's what sort of leads to these new innovations that are out there. Another important thing about creating innovation is a lot of innovation is happening at the boundaries between disciplines. And you see new fields emerging all the time with the name of two disciplines combined into one. Right. And so what we want to do is expose students to a variety of experiences, because you never know when your experience in a dance workshop related to the kinesthetics of the body and the drawing of the body is going to be related back to your understanding as a surgeon of the body. And so we want to have the students have a variety of experiences so that they can make connections that they might not otherwise make.
So I'm even thinking even in other arts, or even the visual arts. You know, certainly when the drawings of the body, for example, we talk about anatomy and physiology, that came to fruition because those are all the, you know, sort of in doctors' offices now you see sort of the cutaway of some whatever, you know, the brain or the hand or something, whatever, you know, specialty. That seemed to be a person bringing one field into the STEM field, right?
Exactly.
And sort of they're combining together. How can a parent get involved? What would a parent? So I'm a parent of children, and I'd want to know, what do I do now? Like, how do I get beyond getting excited about it, because this is cool, right?
Right, it's very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool stuff. How do we go from here to what do I do now? So can you think of maybe a suggestion or so of how a parent might be able to get involved?
Sure. So if a parent wants to be involved in the program in general, that's awesome for us, because we have so many opportunities for both parents, businesses, community members, community organizations to be involved for the STEM program. And we call those our opportunities for involvement. We know from the research that it takes multiple touches, multiple experiences with a student to guide them into a STEM career or a STEM major later on. And so what we're trying to do with our opportunities for involvement is make the walls between the school and the community break down. And so we want the community to be a part of the school and the school to be a part of the community. Same with our businesses and our families. And we want that to be a regular experience, not necessarily just one career day. That's one opportunity. Right. But we also have regular opportunities to come in and mentor and tutor in our academic subjects. We have regular opportunities for you to participate. Let's say you have an idea for one of these problem and project-based learning modules. Some of our best ideas have been suggested to us from the community. Our STEM aeronautics program at South River High School was born out of a community member coming in and being a part of that experience with the students.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty cool then. Yeah. So if the community member says, I have this need, or this is what I see as going on, or a problem, or I need a solution, and then STEM takes, you know, sort of could help out with that.
You can offer, as a business member, you can offer us internships and teacher externships, because sometimes the teacher having the experience of being a professional in your field can be just as impactful when they bring that back into the classroom.
So then other teachers could get involved. Teachers could volunteer too?
Absolutely, absolutely. Right. And the other opportunities that we have for businesses, especially at the high school level, is through our Community Challenge and Capstone program. So let's say you are a business partner or community partner and you have some kind of challenge in your workplace or your organization. And you maybe have put that on a shelf because of manpower or resources, or maybe you want a youth perspective on something. And so you can bring that challenge to our students and they will be a professional consultant team for you. completely unpaid, of course. The benefit is actually through the mentorship experience with them. And they provide you with a white paper on your challenge, and they also provide you a working solution to your challenge, which our businesses then implement.
So this is taking the student from a dependent learner to an independent learner to then an interdependent learner. So it sounds as if it's just moving them along the whole continuum of just how to become a functioning member of the academic community and thinking. That's really cool. Is there a way, for example, for somebody to contact you if someone has an idea?
Absolutely. I can always be reached by email, which is kgillmeister@aacps.org. And I can also be reached through your schools. The schools are very communicative about their STEM experiences and ideas. And so if you contact your local school about an idea that you might have, then they will reach out and we can work together to see how that can come to fruition.
So the ideas would then be in the realm of problem solution, that kind of
idea, or experiences and opportunities you'd like to offer to the students.
Right, so that's a community member, a business member, a partner.
You could sponsor a club at a school, for example. You could come in and do brown bag with professionals, eat lunch with our students and talk to them about what it is that you do on a daily basis.
So that way the students could get to know sort of, again, from the community member down to the filtering to the school that this is the real world application of X, and so to use a variable, right? So, right, to figure out what it is that people do, and even not only for education, but also for careers, and how that has an impact on the society. So for you, then, it seems like it's not just about the school and the connection and what they're going to do, but also the impact the child is going to have on the universe, right? So
absolutely.
Right. So it's community at large. It's the word we used a few years ago was global, so global down to the local, right? So that and that level. So that would be a way a student could get involved too, right?
And so you also asked me earlier about, if I was a parent, how would I help my student keep the opportunities of STEM open for them?
Right.
And I have a parent. I happen to have 3 amazing kids in the system here. And what I would suggest is to, 1, talk to your kids about what it is they really are passionate about and help them to have experiences that can uncover those passions.
Wow.
And 2, to give them open-ended opportunities. Let them be outside. Let them have discussions with you. Talking with children has been shown in the research to be a very powerful experience for them.
Instead of 2,
Instead of 2.
We're talking with them. Yeah.
Right.
I really want to thank you for coming today. It's been really eye-opening for me. And again, the STEM is just beyond its 4 constituent members. It's sort of it really has an impact way beyond that. So I want to thank you again for coming.
The Cafe at Maryland Hall is a collaborative venture between Anne Arundel County Public Schools and Maryland Hall for the Creative Arts. The culinary arts students of the Center of Applied Technology South not only prepare the wonderful food items, they also manage and staff the cafe. Patrons may enjoy a treat or a cup of coffee while also enjoying exhibits and performances from artists in the AACPS PVA program and local art community. This amazing collaborative partnership gives the community an opportunity to experience awesome food and customer service in a rich, artful atmosphere here in the community's Art Center, our vibrant and exciting Maryland Hall.
Today I come to you with exciting news about school meals. Breakfast is offered in all schools every day. At lunch, students are offered at least 4 different entrees, many different types of whole grains, and unlimited choices of fresh fruits and vegetables. Students are encouraged to select up to 2 cups of fresh produce or to fill half of their tray at lunch from our unique salad bars. You may also monitor your child's school meals account online at My Payments Plus. This is a convenient tool. It's offered to all parents to make managing your school meals account a simple process. To learn more about My Payments Plus, simply visit www.mypaymentsplus.com or call 877-237-0946. Registration is free and quick, so get started today. Each year, families have the ability to apply for free or reduced price meals. The application to apply is online. Parents, you may log on to applyformeals.aacps.org. This process is fast, it's easy, convenient, and it's accessible from any computer. Remember, if you received meal benefits last year, you must complete a new application each school year. Thank you for this opportunity to provide this valuable information pertaining to school meals. School meals fuel your child's brain and body for academic success. If you have any questions regarding the healthy school meals offered in Anne Arundel County Public Schools, please contact me directly at 410-222-5900. Thanks again, and have a great school year.